To make a quick one, I was running home and I was just thinking about this workshop that I have coming up, and I was thinking about, okay, like what are the main things that people actually struggle with when it comes to working with AI and actually implementing AI in a useful way. And actually, what I found is that people get stuck at step zero before they touch any of the tools, any of the actual workflows. They get stuck because most people and most businesses actually have things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. And what I mean by that is there's this idea in sort of optimization of manufacturing where you should take away requirements and processes to the extent that you actually have to add some things back. So if you think about, to make an iPhone, you have to get the raw materials, you have to, I don't know, melt it. You have to pour it in a certain mold, right? Step by step. But somewhere along those steps, there's going to be some things that you don't have to do. Maybe there's a step in there which says like, oh, you have to wait for 45 minutes until this cools down to this temperature, right? And if you actually go through each of the steps along a process of manufacturing and then ask, why does this process need to be here? What happens if we take it away? A lot of times you will find that nothing actually changes. So that process was a waste. And this is particularly interesting with AI because a lot of the things that people are thinking about automating with AI are precisely these steps that shouldn't be there in the first place. Because oftentimes, these steps, the people that are doing them find them annoying, they find them boring, they find that they're not adding any value. And so it makes sense to automate it away because it feels like a low leverage thing that AI should take over. But the problem is that if you start automating things that shouldn't exist in the first place, you're just paying an external vendor, in this case, whatever model you're using, OpenAI, Anthropic, like you're paying those guys to do something that shouldn't exist. And so no wonder you're not seeing the returns in the business that you thought you would, because you're getting back to what the baseline should be, except you're also paying on top of that. And so you know, uh, I've been doing AI implementation at a Series A company, and I've helped other businesses think through their AI strategy. And the thing that I see again and again is actually the right thing to focus on is not how, but what. What do you actually want to automate? What do you want to automate? And then what is the impact that that is going to have in your business, right? So there's no use if you imagine like a flow of water through a system, like a pipe system, and there's a particular bottleneck. It doesn't matter how much you pour at the top of the funnel. If there's a bottleneck that is constraining the flow of fluids or business through your system, it's still going to stay at that constraint, right? So you have to look actually at what are the constraints that are stopping my business from growing, and how can AI actually help along that way. That's why these, call center AIs, like salespeople AIs, is so popular because oftentimes inbound demand or like RevOps operations around sales and sales motion are the things that are constraining the business. And so it makes sense that these companies are the ones that are getting funded, that are being built and that are being adopted by people in a meaningful manner because it's actually solving the constraint. And so, before you think about, okay, how do I actually use AI? How do I use AI to automate XYZ? Ask yourself, is that thing that I'm trying to automate a thing that has to exist within the constraints of my business, and B, a thing that is actually the bottleneck to my business growing? And I think if you ask just those two questions, you're going to get to a much better outcome.